Well, they had a little bit more heart. They played with some more passion. They weren't on life support or anything, but the Redskins still beat the Eagles 27-22 at Lincoln Financial Field. Jeremy Burton is here. I'm Adrian Fedque. Yeah, another tough one, but hey, at least it wasn't like a heartbreak where this one would have put the nail in the coffin on the season. The season was already over.
Yeah, I mean, you love to play spoiler against the division opponent that's clawing for a playoff spot, but came up short. It's kind of like a summary of the whole season. Wentz is there driving us down at the end. You win with a touchdown, but oh man, the makeshift offensive line with Brandon Brooks randomly going down with another illness, second time in 3 weeks. It's kind of weird. And then you got Tobin, the turnstile himself, playing right tackle. Letting the defender run by him and getting that pressure on Wentz to not to fumble the ball away to end the game. We knew we were out of it, but yeah, showed a little more heart. But still, I mean, it's the summary of the whole season. I mean, the best we could finish is 500, and we're most likely going to finish under 500. And that's just, that's what it was. It was unrealistic expectations with that 3-0 start, and now we're sitting here and 13 games in, and we just hope to show a little glimmer of hope for the next coming years, but in these last 3 games play the spoiler role. But other than that, it's rough. At least this wasn't like the heartbreaking loss to knock us out, and we already knew we were done.
Yeah, this would have been a lot worse if they would have won last week against Cincinnati to keep the playoff hopes alive, then lose the way they did today. That would have been unbearable. But they already lost last week. Season's already over. So I just kind of had fun today while I was watching it. And Carson Wentz, man, he played himself a hell of a game. Might have been his best game of his career. 32 of 46, 314 yards, a touchdown and an interception. The Eagles, they go 9 of 18 on third down. Wentz was picking up a lot of these third downs. So he looked really, really poised out there, had that presence in the pocket. When the pressure came, he eluded it, spinning out of it, rolling to his right, whatever he was doing, finding players downfield. I didn't see a lot of overthrows. The interception was really bad. He had one overthrow that I saw, like a really bad overthrow. But most of the time, his passes were right on point. Ball placement was pretty damn superb. And, yeah, I thought he played really, really well today.
Yeah, a lot of his majority of his passes were on point. Had a couple mistakes. Obviously, the pick in the end zone, that was huge. But he showed poise. There's a couple cool plays that I like to see. That's just the mindset Carson is. He never gives up on a play. That's something you really want in a franchise quarterback. Couple plays in particular, he was going down and actually got the pass off in the vicinity of Brent Selleck on would have been a first down conversion on. And then the one play was pretty funny. Al Barber actually kind of stood him up as he was going down, and he was still able to deliver a short pass to Burton. Only netted like 3 yards, but it's better than taking a sack or -6. So it's just little situations you see there where things we got to look forward to with Carson and the athlete he is. And as we're winding down the season, it's you got to pick up on the little things. I mean, these are all just great learning experiences for him, and we just got to hope that he continues to improve with another year, the first year under his belt, because the season is over. We just got to play out these 3 games and see what's up. But Carson was on point today. It was nice to see, and distributed the ball well. I mean, Burton and Ertz were his favorite targets, and it was nice having Jordan Matthews back.
Yeah. And that last drive, he was 5 of 9 for 61 yards. And then Matt Tobin, the human turnstile himself, Ryan Kerrigan there with the strip sack. Nothing really Carson Wentz could do with that. Although earlier in the game, he did kind of elude some of those plays where the pressure was coming. He was able to escape it, but that time he didn't see Kerrigan at all. And then that ended the game. And it's a shame because that was one of the things that people were talking about all year heading in, was that he was struggling late in games with the ball, with a chance for the Eagles to go ahead, and he couldn't do it. Although today I thought it felt a little different because if that sack wouldn't have happened, I think he might have gotten the touchdown there.
Yeah, that's what we were waiting to see from Carson. Let's get a game-winning fourth quarter 2-minute drill drive. Like it's exactly what we wanted. And he was driving down the field. It's just the same. It's a shame the situation we were in and with the offensive line. Man, I think he would have had it given enough time. I mean, we had a couple shots there from I think we were at the 13, 14-yard line, and yeah, it's a shame the way it went down. I mean, that's the epitome of what this season has been with injuries and losing guys to suspension, Lane Johnson, and just that's just what we are. We're no better than a 500 football team, and that's what it is.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the hit on Darren Sproles. What Jason Peters called a cheap shot. I got a great quote from him, by the way. That's coming up shortly. So Darren Sproles, God damn it, I cursed. DeShizer Everett, right? I think that's his name. I was afraid I was going to call him DeShone Kizer. So he has this targeting penalty, which was one of the worst penalties I've seen in a while. Granted, Darren Sproles probably should have called it fair catch, but he just leaps at him with his shoulder, hits him right in the face. Sproles gets a concussion, and that was awful. That he should have been thrown out of the game.
Oh, he should have been thrown out on the spot. Oh, and I know this game, didn't have as much usual emotion with me in it because I knew the situation the Eagles were this season. But I just jumped up and screamed at that one. Like, what the hell? That's clearly going after a guy who's shorter than everybody else, like right at his face. He's a defenseless receiver catching, trying to catch the punt. Oh, number 22, Everett. However you say his first name. Oh yeah, that's just dirty and just classless. And I hope he gets a huge fine for that, and he will. It's just uncalled for, unsportsmanlike, and like you're not going to make the playoffs anyway. You suck. You're a reserve special teams player. Like trying to show yourself something. Yeah. Get out of here. Go play some real football. It's uncalled for.
I think his name is DeShazer, actually. Whatever his name is. Jason Peters never shy of quoting. Okay, he goes, I wanted to get him, but I don't have a backup right now. That was a cheap shot. It reminded me of the Chris Baker situation from a couple years ago. Peters goes right after him. Donnybrook breaks out at Lincoln Financial Field. Both teams going at it. But, yeah, Everett, man, he's lucky. He's a lucky man because Jason Peters, there's no backups.
Yeah, if Alan Barber didn't go out, then Peters is taking that guy down. He's running on the sidelines, and that's a matchup that if I was Mr. Everett, I would not be happy about a 350-pound grown man running at you full steam, trying to take your head off after you just took off his boy's head. Like, oh, not cool, man. It got dirty. There was a little scrum afterwards. That's the NFC's rivalry for you. Like you mentioned a couple years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, with Nick Foles. The same thing happened with the Redskins. The Redskins have had our number for a couple years now. Kirk Cousins especially. I mean, he didn't light it up today, but he did enough. And it's a shame seeing a 0-4 in our division on the right side of the standings. Man, that's hard to look at. We got 2 more shots at our division, but these are teams with at least 8 wins, either 8 or 11 wins right now, and that's the Giants and Cowboys. Should be a good game tonight, Sunday Night Football, with them two. But the last 2 games in our division are against tough opponents, and I mean, you really don't want to see 0-6 there against the division at the end of the year. It doesn't bode well for looking ahead when you have a team like the Cowboys with 2 young studs running their offense with that good offensive line, the other weapons they have, and they're going to not just all of a sudden, barring injury, just fall off the face of the earth. They're going to be around. They're going to be good for a while. And yeah, it's just the Eagles just being in the it sucks being in the basement, man. It sucks being in the basement division, but it's reality we got to deal with right now. And it seems like we say this every year, but we need good off season and hope for next year. There's always next year. It's really getting old.
All right, let's talk about Trey Burton. Trey Burton, and if you didn't think he could do it all, quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, fullback, he's out there as the long snapper on the field goal. So Donnie Jones hauls in the high snap, puts it down. Sturgis boots through the 41-yard field goal. Trey Burton, I mean, what can you say about the guy?
Oh man, he's he's my cousin from another mother. We share that same last name, so I always have a strong feelings for Mr. Trey Burton. But yeah, I mean, he's what every team really needs. He's that utility guy that can play multiple positions. You can pretty much plug him in wherever. He's a great special teams player, and not only on coverage, but he showed that today when Dorbas went out, Brent Selleck went out and tried to long snap it once, and it was bounced. It was too low. Missed field goal opportunity there. So Burton was the third option, and it wasn't perfect. It wasn't a John Dorbas snap, but hey, Donnie Football snagged it and got it down, laces out, and made the 3 points. So that's what mattered, and to go with it, I think he had 7 grabs for 65 yards, something like that. Yeah. Solid game. Is all over the field. He's exactly what you want on a winning team. I think he's going to stick around for a while as we continue to grow with Carson and get him more weapons. It's clear that Carson and Burton have a good connection.
Yeah, it's funny because a couple of weeks ago, and I made this point in the show, like everybody was calling for Bryce Treggs, everybody was calling for Paul Turner. I'm like, well, why don't you just use your tight ends more and have Trey Burton out there? Like what would you rather see? Trey Burton, Paul Turner, or Bryce Treggs? I mean, it's Burton, hands down.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's undrafted, but he's not a rookie. He's been in the league for 3 years. He's got the experience on those two guys, Treggs and Turner. And Turner actually had a pretty key drop tonight. Today it was in his hands, and just seemed like it bounced out. But he's making the most of his opportunities. He did have a couple plays. But yeah, I would have Burton in there. Obviously, who are our 2 leading receivers today? Zach Ertz and Trey Burton. So obviously you're correct, and we do like to use the tight ends. So yeah, I totally agree. He's one of our. It's crazy to say that our technically third string tight end is one of our best offensive weapons. But that's the situation we're in, and that's the hand we're dealt. And we obviously have to address this situation in the offseason with the outside weapons.
Yeah, for sure. All right, the reason why I thought the Eagles lost this game today, you had your first 3 possessions, you get in the red zone, and you settle for field goals. Meanwhile, Washington, they punched the ball into the end zone 4 times. So they scored 27 points because they went for a 2-point conversion. They didn't get it. So they get 27, we get 22. And, we lose the game. So the red zone offense needs to get better. They got to find a way to punch the ball in the end zone. I forget the stat that I saw, but they've basically only been scoring like 2 touchdowns. They can't get to 3. They can't get that third one. They always score 2, and they can't get the third one. I forget when the last time it happened, but it's been a minute. It's been a minute since they scored 3 touchdowns in a game.
Yeah, we had the help with McKelvin in the pick 6. That was a touchdown for us, and that came on the
I'm talking about offensive touchdowns.
The defensive end. So going to that point, I mean, if so we went 3 straight possessions in the red zone, field goal, interception. I believe there was the first 3. And that beautiful ball to Jordan Matthews in the corner of the end zone, where instead of his foot taking his whole momentum forward with that foot, that's when you got 1 foot down. That's when that back foot taps. You toe tap. You learn how to toe tap, and that's a touchdown if you toe tap that foot and not continue your foot flat and let it land with your speed, your body going, and obviously half his foot was out of bounds. All you had to do was tap that toe, and that's a pretty touchdown. And later, either it was the next play or the play after was the pick, I believe. So that's points right there. He left on the board. We got nothing out of. It was six, at least 7 with an extra point. These are opportunities that it's the story of the year, man. It's really, it seems like every game there's some there's a miss, and we were in a lot of these games this year. We were in a lot of them. Our record could be flipped around, but it's not the case, and we're sitting here now. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But can't cry over spilled milk. We have a lot of needs to fill. We know what we got to do in the off season.
Yeah, and once again, the pass-run ratio. Doug Peterson talks about it every single week. Yeah, we got to attempt less passes, all this, all that. 52 dropbacks, 20 runs. Now, today I wasn't as pissed off because the offensive line was kind of in shambles. So you're gonna tend to throw the ball more. Wentz was also having a really good game, but that ratio, man, you say you want to fix it, and then you don't fix it.
And what's crazy? Carson is actually on pace for more pass attempts for a rookie or I think ever in Eagles franchise history. He's on pace. I don't have the exact stat, but he's on pace for over 500 some pass attempts, close to 600 maybe. It's crazy the amount he's throwing the ball, and this is not how you're supposed to have a rookie quarterback come in and throw the ball at this rate. I mean, I know for a fact that Dak Prescott, to compare, has 100 or now more than 100 less attempts than Carson Wentz, but that just shows you how having a good running game, good offensive line, and other efficient weapons on offense, can do to your team. And you have Carson Wentz, who is a rookie. I mean, this guy was playing Jacksonville State in January this same calendar year, and now he's in the NFL, throwing the ball over 40 times a game. It's just, what can you really expect, from a rookie? I mean, guys like Peyton Manning, his rookie year, he threw like 28 interceptions. It's just, it's unrealistic to ask for, with the weapons Carson has, to throw the ball 40 times a game plus and to have a winning record. It's just not a recipe for success in the NFL.
Yeah, it's asinine. It's completely ridiculous. All right, one last topic, and then we'll go to final thoughts. Fletcher Cox had 2 sacks today. Hadn't had one in 8 games prior to today. So beat a double team on his first sack. Second one, Jim Schwartz sets up a blitz. He beats a 1-on-1 against Brandon Sheriff there, the right guard. So Fletcher Cox, he came to play today.
Yeah, there was the one Benny Logan helped him out a little bit and had the feet of Kirk Cousins a little bit, but Cox put on the hit, and then so I guess he got credited for a full sack. And then you mentioned the other one. Yeah, I mean he still doesn't have enough sacks this year to warrant his $100 million contract, but he went absent for half the season, literally, and yeah, it was nice. It was nice to see him, get out there and get some pressure in Kirk's face. He didn't kill us today, Kirk Cousins, but he was good enough. Yeah, I mean, Jim Schwartz. It was funny. We hope we don't lose him right away to a head coaching job. I wonder if he has a great defensive year, but no, it's crazy. The second half of the season, the defense has really not met expectations, and even though Cox has 2 sacks, there's still glaring deficiencies on that defense.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see both sides of the argument because he has been doubled and triple teamed every single game. And then the other side of the ledger, he should have some more production. And to an extent, that's, I guess, a little bit true. Because even John Lynch made the point today in the booth. He was talking about how Warren Sapp would see, double teams, triple teams all the time, and he still produced. So Fletcher Cox, hey, it's not easy out there, but sure, maybe you want to see him produce just a little bit more. But he's like the least of my worries. I think more of the problem is the rest of the defensive line hasn't been getting to the quarterback. If getting some one-on-one situations, they're not getting to the quarterback either. All right, we'll do final thoughts. This is gonna go like 20+ minutes, so I wanted to keep these shows to 20, but yeah, we'll do final thoughts right now.
Final thoughts. I'm gonna shout out to my coach Matt Rule and getting his new job down in Baylor. Yeah, I wish him the best of luck. He did great for Temple the past couple of years, and since the Eagles' season is pretty much wrapped up, you just got to play out these 3 games. There's another team in Philly that plays on ice that's got some wins in a row. Brandon Shen got a nice little hat trick yesterday, and I think they're in a 0-0 tie right now, if I'm correct, going into the third period against the Red Wings. It's hoping for 9 in a row with those Flyboys.
Yeah, I was in the press box yesterday for that game. That was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Little hat trick. I've never been to a hat trick game, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, the hats just flying onto the ice. Yeah, what can you say? 8 wins in a row. Make Philadelphia Flyers hockey great again. See what I did there? May have to check that one twice. Make Philadelphia Flyers hockey great again. They're going for 9 in a row tonight. It is exciting. I'm not normally a hockey guy, but I'm trying this year, especially since I'm going to the games for Philly influencers. So yeah, I'm learning a little bit more. So it's fun. Yeah, going to games is fun. It's a lot better live than it is watching it on TV. Hockey is actually one of the better live experiences there is.
I completely agree. I was in a club box earlier this year against the Bruins. This was actually the second game of this winning streak. This was a couple weeks.
That shootout, yeah.
The shootout that went 9 players deep, and that was exciting, man. Yeah, I agree. They're so much more fun live. You're right there in the action. I suggest everyone get to Wells Fargo this year as much as you can. It's a great experience, and Dave Haxtell, I like them coming out. I'm really impressed with what he's doing with the lines and the team, and his scheme there. You don't see many college hockey coaches go to the professional hockey NHL like you would college football go to the NFL. It's interesting to see him and how successful he is with the Flyers so far in this year and a third we're at now under his belt. They're an exciting team, a lot of good young talent, and we still got some good veterans in there too. So it's a good mix. We hope to make the playoffs and see where they go. So I think it's definitely realistic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The power play is absolutely sexy. Like, I want to make love to it. It's awesome.
They're first in the league.
Yeah.
They're 25% efficiency. It's number 1 in the league.
Yeah, and all 3 of Shen's goals came on the power play yesterday. So they're doing damage on it. Yeah, so that's that. All right, well, this is an Eagles show. So I'm sure we'll do a Flyer show in the middle of the week. We're going to try to do it every Wednesday. So Caleb, Brian, they'll be my guests. So that's that. Jeremy Burton, I'm Adrian Vedque. Well, tough loss today, but season's already over, so whatever. Okay, we're out. Carson Wentz was awesome, though.
See you.